What if I told you that you already get the basics of programming, even if you've never touched a line of code in your life? I know, it sounds a little crazy, right? But stick with me, because today we're going to pull back the curtain on programming and show you how it's connected to something you probably do like every single day. So, let's kick things off with a kind of weird question. What on earth does making a simple cup of tea have to do with that super powerful computer you've got in your pocket? I mean, they seem totally unrelated, right? But trust me, the answer to that question, well, it's pretty much the secret to understanding how all code works. Okay, so before we dive into programming, let's just talk about what a program even is. And honestly, it's way simpler than you think. It's just a set of instructions. That's it. Seriously. And the funny thing is, we all use programs every single day and don't even think twice about it. Just think about this recipe for a second. Your goal is simple. Make a cup of tea. And you've got this clear step-by-step list to get it done. Step 1, boil the water. Step 2, add the tea bag. You get the idea. This logical sequence of commands. That's a program. It's really nothing more than a list of instructions to get something done. So yeah, when we talk about a computer program, that's literally all it is. A list of commands, a recipe that you give to a computer. I mean, think about it. Without programs, which we also call software, your computer is just a really expensive paperweight, right? It's the software, those programs that actually brings the whole thing to life. Okay, so if a program is the recipe, what's programming? Well, that's just the art of writing the recipe. It's the whole process of creating those instructions. But there's a catch, a pretty big one actually. You can't just write it in English. You have to write it in a language that the machine can actually understand. This is where you get to be the director. And the computer, it's your actor. You're the one writing the script, giving these super clear, super precise orders. You're telling it, okay, do this, now do that. And the goal is to get the computer to perform its part perfectly every single time. And like I said, you can't just type, hey computer, boil the water, in plain English and expect it to work. It would have no idea what you're talking about. So you need a special language. Think of it like a middle ground, a bridge, with its own unique grammar and rules that both you, the human, and the machine can agree on. And that, my friend, is a programming language. And here's the cool part. Just like we have tons of human languages, English, Spanish, Japanese, there isn't just one single language for computers. Different jobs need different tools, right? So if you're trying to build, say, an AI, you're probably going to reach for something like Python. If you're creating a super fast, graphics-heavy video game, you might use a language called C++. It's all about picking the right tool for the job you're trying to do. All right, so we've got our recipe and we've written it in a special language the computer gets. So what happens next? Where does the magic actually happen? This is the moment where the invisible world of code finally meets the physical machine. This is where the brain meets the body. Let's go back to our tea recipe for just a second. Remember that last step? Add sugar if needed. Notice that it's not just another command, it's a decision. It's based on a condition. If the person wants sugar, then add it. This simple if-then idea is the absolute heart of all programming logic. You're not just giving a dumb list of orders, you're teaching the computer how to think and make choices. And this logic, this thinking, happens inside a machine that's really made of two distinct parts, a body and a brain. The hardware is the body, the physical stuff you can actually touch, the keyboard, the screen, the mouse. But the software, that's the brain. It's our program, the invisible intelligence telling the body what to do. And you absolutely cannot have one without the other. A brain without a body is just thoughts, and a body without a brain is just a lump. They need each other to do anything useful. So why should you care about any of this? I mean, it's kind of interesting, but what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that whether we see it or not, this stuff, these programs, this code, is quietly running pretty much every single aspect of our modern lives. Honestly, you can think of programming as having some serious superpowers. It lets us automate all the boring, repetitive stuff we hate doing. It can sift through mountains of data to find one tiny, crucial detail. It's the magic behind the apps that connect us with people all over the globe. And of course, it creates the amazing games and tools that we use and love every day.
And you're bumping into these superpowers all the time, probably without even noticing. You know when Netflix recommends a movie that you actually want to watch? Yep, that's a program analyzing your viewing habits. When you go to an ATM and it securely gives you your cash, that's all happening because of a super complex program. Even your smartwatch counting your steps. That's a tiny, brilliant program running on a tiny little chip. It's everywhere. The world truly, truly runs on code.
So, right about now, you might be thinking, okay, this is really cool, but it also sounds kind of huge and overwhelming. And if you are, that is totally okay. Because here's the secret: getting into programming isn't about taking some massive, impossible leap. It's just about taking one small step and then another. The best way to look at it is it's just like learning anything new, right? Like picking up a guitar or learning to speak Spanish. You don't sit down on day one and expect to play a masterpiece or have a fluent conversation. No way. You start with a single chord, a single word. You're going to make mistakes, for sure, but you learn the patterns, you practice, and little by little, you start building up your skill and your confidence. So let's end with this. Programming is not some exclusive club for geniuses with lab coats. It's not. It's an open playground for anyone who's curious, for anyone who likes solving puzzles, for anyone who's ever just looked at something on their screen and thought, I wonder how that works. That's where the whole journey begins, with that little spark of curiosity. And maybe, just maybe, the courage to write that very first line of code.